Hello there and welcome back to Murders on the Yangtze River. Now last time we had ourselves a bit of more of an investigation around the ship, and we have discovered, over the course of the episode, we discovered another 2 dead bodies. Now the only real connection between them is this mahjong set of mahjong cards, not tiles. They are actually different. But, yeah, these mahjong cards, they're from the family of characters or something like that, and they've been counting down. Each one has had one, like a different one. So obviously first victim had 9, second victim had 8, third victim had 7. So whoever's doing the deletions have obviously been doing them in order. Why, I don't particularly know. We don't really know who, although I have a vibe, which I explained in the end of the last episode. I have a vibe that it might be our friend, because he seems like the Moriarty type to our Sherlock Holmes type. I don't know. It seems... I just get that vibe. I do, because I don't see any like other connections between them. It's bizarre. So we are going to be jumping back in. We're going to be having another investigate and hopefully find out who and why these murders are taking place. And I'm hopefully not going to be any more, because I'm curious as to how many people are on this boat. Because if there's 9 cards and he's going through them in order, does that mean that we have another 6 victims to come? I don't know if there's that many people on the ship. That's the problem. Also found out that Elle is a young girl, not a young boy, which I was surprised at because I couldn't tell. Which is a good thing, isn't it? Is that a good thing? Anyway, I'm just rambling on. So please grab your favourite drinks and snacks, curl up somewhere comfortable, come hang out with me as we jump straight back into Murders on the Yangtze River. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy. Right, so here we are. We have, well, just been analysing this room. I think we're done in here, actually. Steam valve. Already talked to him. Can we go to the dining hall? This door is open, at least to the dining hall. I should go there after investigations in the engine room are complete. Oh wait, we're not finished in here. Alright. But sir, Shipmaster Lowe, there are still a few questions I would like to ask you. Don't hesitate to ask, Mr. Shen. Actually, I have no more questions. I'm sorry about that. Check the steam valve. I think I've checked everything in here. Talk to Elle. Elle, there are a few questions I would like to ask you about Old Ling. Ask away, Mr. Chen. What was Old Ling's relationship like with Hao Chu? One was reserved, while the other had no inhibitions at all. Although they worked together, they rarely talk to one another. Who do you think would want to end their lives? I don't know about old Hao, but I'm sure that family had something to do with Uncle Ling. Do you mean the Woos? Mr. Shen, you still remember the newspaper clippings on Uncle Ling's wall, right? Vaguely, yes. Shen probably does. I don't really remember them. He seemed to be really concerned with how the Woos were doing lately. Okay. Ooh. I guess we are done here now. Alright. See, I think it's him. I think it could be him. I mean, the obvious one would be Wu Taman getting rid of the competition because he owes money. But that's like too obvious. See, I think it's him. I think it's him because he's just got that vibe about him. And the obvious choice, he's not the obvious choice. the obvious choice is Wu Man, the older brother, I think, one of the brothers, because he owes money, and the less people that are alive from the family, the more inheritance he gets. So it kind of makes sense that he would be like killing family members to get that thing and get out of debt. But to me that's too obvious, and I would like to think it would subvert expectations and have someone completely unpredictable. I still think it's him. I think he's Moriarty. I think he's a Moriarty type. Oh, sorry, John. Please check your pockets. I just found this in mine. I have a 2 of characters Mahjong card on me. I'm sure you've already noticed the relationship between the Mahjong cards and the Order of Death. These cards symbolize provocations from the murderer. Every person who received a card has now become their prey. But how does he know that the victims received the card before they were killed? How does he know that? Because I just assumed that the card was placed after they'd killed them. Because could be he seems certain of that. What should we do now? I don't trust him. What should we do now? We must not sit idly by for death to dawn upon us. Shipmaster Lowe, please gather everyone at the dining hall immediately. Oh, we're stopping the ship. Alright. Also, is stopping a ship like that in a mist a good idea? Especially on a trade route? I don't know about that. We could get crashed into. John has already introduced the situation of the 3 homicide cases. The 9, 8 and 7 of characters appeared next to the 3 victims respectively. Earlier, John and I found Mahjong cards, the 2 and 3 of characters, in our pockets. These cards are most likely a countdown for the culprit's murder plan. I would like to ask you all to see if you have any cards on your person. What the? How did this card appear out of nowhere? 6 of characters, then wouldn't that mean that I'm the next target? I have a card too. It's the 5 of characters, right after Master Wu. My card is the 4 of characters. Mine is the 1 of characters. Going by order, it seems like I'm the last one. Unless it's him. I don't think it's him. If he's the last one, then obviously he's going to know who the murderer is, because there's going to be no one left. It appears all of the missing character Mahjong cards are here. Wait a second, how come all you have cards but I don't? Who knows? Isn't it because you're the one who placed them? Huh? Wait, what? I don't have a card on me either. They're torturing me by making me watch as my passengers and crew are killed one by one. Listen up, you murderer. If you want revenge, just come after me. See, this is a curious thing, because we know, because we're in the past now. We know that him and, well, Afu and Shipmaster Lowe are good people. They are clearly not the murderer, so the murderer has to be someone here, because this is no one else. This is all the cast and crew. Because obviously we've got two murdered crew members. Trapped in water, nails in coffins. This wasn't done, my man. It's the Loon King. The Loon King is after our lives. I still haven't looked up the Loon King. I don't know why I'm expecting an eel or a fish. I don't know why I'm expecting that. Loon King. The Loon King isn't after father's inheritance though, right, Timman? Liangxing, you... Why would you say that? Are you possessed by something? Everyone, please calm down. The supernatural aren't behind this, but a serial homicide has indeed taken place on this ship. For your own safety, please remain in the dining hall and assist our search for the culprit. Mr. Joseph, before you begin, we need to make sure that you're trustworthy. Shipmaster, Mr. Joseph is the new prosecutor of the Shanghai International Settlement. Nobody is more trustworthy than he is. Liangxing, I know Mr. Joseph quite well. However, I understand your concerns, Shipmaster. How about this? I will organize discussions and entrust John with the task of deductions. Throughout this evening, John and I, as well as Mr. Wu Timman, have been in this dining hall. Shipmaster, I can also prove that Mr. Shen is a good person. Mr. Shen and Mr. Joseph has helped clear me of my suspicion, so I approve too. Thank you, gentlemen. So I'm number 3, he's number 2, and he's number 1. So we're the last three people in the chain. Which I'm wondering it makes sense that it would be someone higher up, or let's say lower in the chain, that's doing the killing than the others. I still think it's him. I don't think it's him. I think it's him. He's just too polite and too nice. He's also polite and nice, but the whole Moriarty vibe thing, I don't know. I'm not gonna hang up on it. We're not having a chair incident. Mr. Joseph, Mr. Shen, how do you two plan to find the murderer? The assassination technique and wounds of Ordling and Madame Yin are exactly the same. This should be the work of the same murderer. Although how Chu's cause of death differs, a mahjong card was also discovered next to him. In cases where consecutive crimes have been committed, time is of the most crucial information. Therefore, we need to confirm the alibis of everyone here. Mr. Shen, what's an alibi? Proof that you were where you were, and being able to prove where you were when the incidents happened. Any evidence that proves that you were not present at the time of the crime. Or that's probably an easier way of saying it. Due to the relatively confirmed times of death, Madame Yin and Ordling, I would like each of you to respectively state where you were, what you did, and evidence proving so during these 2 time periods. John and I will judge whether everyone has an alibi or not based on their statements. What if someone lies? If someone lies, there will be a contradiction between the testimonies to reveal who is lying. If there are no further questions, let's begin with Madame Yin's case. The last time we all saw Madame Yin was in this dining hall. Soon afterwards, she left the dining hall alone and returned to her cabin to rest. Then the power outage took place, causing a Fu to trip over Madame Yin's body. Finally, power was restored and Miss Yin Chu discovered the body and cried for help. Now, I would like everyone to talk about what you've been through from after Madame Yin left the dining hall to when power was restored. A group oh god lord, group testimony. Alright. I told Mr. Shen that before the power went out, I met with Yin Ju once. My chest felt stuffy after the game, so I went back to my room to take my asthma medication. Then Yinju asked me to teach her poker, but I refused because I wasn't feeling well. Is there anyone who can testify as to what you said? Yes, there is. Fu came by saying he wanted to take some tool out from his cabinet. After Fu left, I went to the bow of the ship for some air. Liang Xin can testify for me. I felt better after a while, then as I was about to return to my cabin, the power went out. It was really dark, I was alone and scared, so I went to the cockpit to find Liang Xin. When power was restored, Liang Xin escorted me back to my room and we found Yin Ju. Very well, next please. I don't remember that. I don't remember him being there. We saw it from outside, didn't we? I don't remember him being there. Before the power outage, I was preparing dinner in the dining hall until Elle came back. I brought Konji to the shipmaster in Elle's place, then spoke with Yin Chu when I saw her. After I went back to the cockpit, I took over the helm for a bit and then the power went out. I was going to check it out, but Yin Chu came. She seemed scared, so I stayed with her instead. The rest is pretty much like what Yin Chu said, except I chased after Fu. It's hard not to suspect him when he looked so flustered, right? Very well, next Mr. Wu. What's there for me to say? I was at the dining hall before and after the power outage. You two both know that already. Next. I don't know when Madame Yin left the dining hall. Before the power outage, I was at the helm. During which Elle came by and Yang Xin brought me Konji. After the power outage, Miss Yin Chu came. She looked quite scared. She was in the cockpit until the power was restored. Then Yang Xin escorted her back to her room. And next? I was working in the dining hall, then Uncle Ling asked for me to help in the engine room. What did he need your help with? He asked me to lend a hand while he repaired the joint of the condenser in the steam engine. Please continue. After that, Uncle Ling told me to look for old Hao, but I couldn't find him anywhere. Then the shipmaster made me get his Konji, so I went back to the dining hall. From then on, I was with Mr. Joseph and Mr. Shen the whole time. Alright, last but not least, Fu. Sorry, I forgot you still got a thing. I'm going to prep for this one. Is it finally my turn to speak? I've been wanting to speak so badly. Seems like Fu's tongue isn't that sharp yet.
Huh?
Can you all understand me, my testimony? Speak slowly, I will listen carefully. I was experimenting with my new invention, the vacuum glove box. I needed vernier caliper, but isn't it itch? Oh, sorry, itch. I was going to say isn't itch in Madame Yin's room, so I went to get it. I remember Madame Yin was smiling while holding poker cards. Yin Chu looked unhappy. After getting what I needed, I went back to experimenting. Suddenly, the power went out. I meshed up and got my hand stuck, so I had to go get more tools from that room. Did you leave right away, or did you stay in your room for a while? I guessed right away, but I had a kerosene lamp close by, so I picked it up and left. I just walked out the door when the short figure ran out from that room towards the bow. Did you get a good look at who that person was?
Huh?
I'm going to guess no. It was too foggy. All I can be sure was that short figure. I didn't think too much about it and went inside. You all know what happened after. Very well. Everyone's testimonies just now were extremely detailed. I mean, his wasn't. His wasn't detailed at all. It was just like a one line and done. Now I'll leave it to John. Well played. But gentlemen, the way I see it, everyone here has that alibi that you speak of. Also, where were our alibi? Why aren't we given our alibis as well? Oh, we know that we didn't do it. And obviously, with Joseph being on the accusatory side, he's exempted himself. So if he's the killer, he's never going to be questioned about it. And that's how he gets away with it. See, I believe it's him. It has to be him. I'm probably incredibly wrong, but it has to be him. In my head, it's him. No, there is a contradiction between one of the first 5 testimonies and that of Afu's. I need a vernier caliper, but it's in Madam Yin's room, so I went to get it. I'm not going to do the talk. Not going to do the speech impediment while I'm reading this out. I remember Madam Yin was smiling while holding poker cards. Yin Chu looked unhappy. I went back to experimenting, but the power went out, so I messed up and got my hand stuck. I left to get tools, but I saw a figure run up from Madam Yin's room towards the bow. I didn't think too much about it and went inside. You all know what happened after that. Is it the figure? Power went out. No one was around. I was really scared. Is that might be it? At first I was preparing dinner. Helm ran into Yin Chu at the bow of the ship. So she was at the bow of the ship. So if Afu said... Okay, so I'm trying to work it out here. She... So went back to the room and think that's obviously before the power went out. And then she went to the bow of the ship for some air. So she left and went to the... I was already at the bow of the ship when the power went out. She saw no one around, which means she didn't see Afu. Correct? Does that mean she didn't see Afu? Oh, so Yin Chu came into the excuse me. Sorry, that one caught me off guard there. So after the power outage, she went from the bow to the cockpit. He was in the downhole the whole time. Obviously, we're not even going to question this. While the power outage was at the helm, never left the cockpit. During our Kim bounce, after power outage, Yin Chu Kim stayed until the power was restored. It has to be after the power outage. I was with Mr. Shin, Mr. Joseph. So it's one of these two. No one was around. Correct. I hope I'm correct. Afu's statement contradicts that of Miss Yin Chu's. Or was I right there? Mine?
Huh?
Are you saying I said something wrong? During the power outage, Afu saw a figure run from Madam Yin's room towards the bow. And yet, even though you were at the bow, Miss Yin Chu, you did not see anyone. That's not a happy face. Maybe because it was too dark and foggy. That's why I didn't see them. It's a wooden deck. If someone ran towards the bow, you would have heard footsteps. Did you hear any, Miss Yin Chu? Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case. Okay, now she's suspicious. She's acting suspiciously. Yinchu, you're sounding a little guilty. I was too scared at the time, so I didn't notice. Gentlemen, I know what's going on. Go on then.
Huh?
Actually, there is a detail I forgot to share. The figure on shore left Madame Yin's room and went inside another room. Maybe Yinchu didn't see them because they hid inside Mr. Joseph's room. Okay, say pointing to Mr. Joseph. It's pointing to Joseph. Mr. Shen, didn't you notice someone breaking into your room to steal something? Could it be the murderer? Actually, that's true. That's true. When we investigated the room, we were missing a bottle of wine. Could that be possible? Or that could be possible. However, only a bottle of red wine is missing. I wonder why the murderer would steal it. It's okay if we can't draw a conclusion for now. Let's begin the second round of inquiry. I'm going to call it. It is Joseph. He left the victims. He left the first victim. He went into our room during the power outage, grabbed the wine so that he could poison it, and then take it and give it to the second victim, Old Jin. Or How Chu, I think he's called. The one that was up on top of the cockpit. And I think because of a whole load of booze and drinks around there, and he was known drunkard, he drank the poisoned wine, and then that killed him, and then he was deceased, and then he fell off when we hit rough waters. I'm letting my hatred's wrong. Probably the wrong word. My mistrust of Joseph cloud my judgment. Everything's pointing to him. I'll be very surprised if it wasn't him. Right, sorry. The last time we all saw Old Ling was also in this dining hall. Not long ago, John discovered that he had been stabbed to death in the engine room. The weapon that killed him was the hairpin Yinju wore on her head. Since the hairpin had yet to be stolen during investigations of Madame Yin's murder scene, preliminary assessment shows that Old Ling's time of death was shortly after Madame Yin's. Now I would like everyone to talk about what you've been through after leaving Madame Yin's murder scene. Alright. The first one wasn't too bad. There's a lot of information to be processing with all these people. After the incident, Yang Xin brought a Fu and me back to the cabin to rest. Fu didn't seem well, so I brought some pastries and cleaned the blood off his hands. Then I spent some time trying to remove the box from Fu's hand. Not long after Mr. Shen and Elle arrived. After Mr. Shen left, Fu and I stayed put until Shipmaster Lo assembled us. Very well, next please. Also, I'm surprised that it didn't start with him and go like along. It goes her, then him, then it's weird that it goes that pattern. After I helped me and Chu and Fu settle down, I reported the shipmaster at the cockpit. When Mr. Shen and Elle came to investigate, we all saw how Chu's body fall down. We were all present there. That short did really well, by the way. Thank you very much for that. I will say that. Thank you very much for that. I took over the helm while the shipmaster went out to assess the situation. You were alone in the cockpit for so long. Is there anyone who can prove it? Isn't the fact that the ship didn't overturn and feed you to the Loon King the best proof? A valid response. Psh, can't say that word on a ship. It's bad luck. Bad luck, I tell you. Which word? Overturn? You... Why do you say it again? Take it back or else it's a bad omen. Enough, Mr. Wu Taman. It's your turn to testify. It makes sense that he was still in the cockpit. I don't think there's any contradiction there. Gentlemen, there's nothing for me to say, right? What? Feeling guilty? Guilty? Huh. Your big brother is the least guilty person on this ship. Ever since I left the room, I've been reciting scriptures on deck to keep the ship safe. Everyone on board has seen and understands my hard work and dedication. Except you, Liangxin. I don't know anymore. That's enough. Next. While you were investigating Madame Yin's death, I was at the helm. After Hao Chu's body fell, I realized we were in danger and asked Liangxin to take over. When Mr. Shen and Mr. Joseph were examining Hao Chu's body, I was by their side, which is also correct. Then Mr. Joseph asked many questions about Hao Chu and made me bring him to the cockpit. When no one responded to the engine telegraph, we went to the engine room together. When we arrived, Mr. Shen and Elle were already there. Very well, next please. I've been with Mr. Shen the entire time. We pretty much went to every single place on this ship. Alright, now the last one. No contradictions jumped out of me right there. But this one might be a bit trickier. After leaving the murder scene, I was resting inside. The room. It was super quiet. I was feeling dizzy and wanted to sleep. Someone kept reciting scriptures. Wasn't that loud, but it was so annoying. Thank goodness Yin Chu took care of me and helped me take the vacuum glove box off. Then the detective came, fixed my tongue, and told us not to go outside. Very well. Now, everyone has provided new statements. Mr. Shen, is there anything wrong with the statements this time? Not everyone has explained everything they've been through fully. One person's description does not match the situation I saw during investigations. What was that? What was that? Was it? Okay, I'm wondering, I don't think it's her again. It could be her again. I don't think it is. It's not jumping out. Help them remove the box from his hand, and obviously a fuse is similar. Yin Chu took care of me, helped me take the vacuum glove box off. Super quiet, except someone who was reciting scriptures, which matches up with this. Ever since he left the room, I've been reciting scriptures and praying for blessings on deck. Elle, I think, is fine because we were together. Captain, I think, is, again, I think he's fine. Return the cockpit. Mr. Chanel came and saw Charles Chu's body from front, which is correct. We did see that. When the shipmaster went out to check the situation, I stayed at the helm. It could be that. However, it's something that was saw. Was it him? I'm gonna guess him. I might be incredibly wrong. Correct? Because we saw him on the thing, but we don't know where he was at the time of everything that was going on at the time. The person who did not explain everything fully was you, Mr. Taman. Master Wu, you said you were praying for blessings on the deck the entire time, but Mr. Shen and I didn't see you on the deck when we headed towards the cockpit. Actually, valid. I don't remember seeing him. A lot of preparations need to be done to pray to the Loon King for blessings. All the different gods need different offerings. There's no point in explaining it to you. I was busy with this and that on the deck. Maybe we missed each other. If Wu Man was on the deck the entire time, what does the appearance of this item mean? What item are we talking about? Right. The murder, Wu Aishan, and the missing escort case. Right, so wait. Wu Tuman was on the entire time. What does the appearance of this item mean? What item are we talking about? Would it be that? I don't... That, obviously, these weren't on the deck. That wasn't on the deck. He was on the deck. That were found in the engine room, didn't we? We found that in the engine room. Madam Yin thing. It has to be the card. It has to be the card. Yes, no. Mr. Taman, this piece of evidence is enough to prove you were not always on the deck. What is this? I don't think so. John, this piece of evidence is pulls apart from Mr. Wu, I'm afraid. It's small fry. Allow me to reconsider. Okay. So we are wrong. I don't know where this was found. Newspaper report on the legend of the Loon King Temple said the peculiar missing escort case once took place. There's also an ad for a match to show the item with the... Okay, I don't think that's... Wait. Dining hall. That's what we found in the dining hall. I didn't even see that before. I'm sure that was found in... That was found in the engine room, wasn't it? I found that there, didn't I? There's only the other thing I can think of, unless we're talking about this. Actually, if we look at this guy, does it mention the coin? Seven account. Okay, it wasn't that. I don't think it is. I might be wrong. I'm sure that was in the thing. Let's try that. All right. So it is that. We found that in... Did we find that? Did we actually find that? I can't remember where I found it. But we're going to go... It seems to be correct, so we're going to go for it. Mr. Tuman, have you ever noticed that a copper coin is missing from your sword? Oh, I didn't. This copper coin must have helped me dodge a bullet. Coincidentally, I found the missing copper coin. I now return it to you. You have my thanks. What's more coincidental is that I found it inside my cabin. It was in my cabin, not the engine room. All right. I was correct in the fact that I didn't remember, but I was incorrect that it was in the engine room. I completely forgot where I found it. Mr. Taman, how do you explain this? Well, that's... Taman, you're not the murderer that Fu saw enter Mr. Shen's room, are you? Wu Liangshin, you ungrateful brat, don't you sling mud at me. I remember the copper coin and it was still on your sword when we investigated Madame Yin's room. Wait, is this the sword that they're talking about? This is actually the sword that they're talking about. I didn't realise that was a sword. I thought that was just like a... I didn't think that was a sword. I mean, it looks like a sword shape. Now looking at it, I thought it was just an upside down cross. You think it was just holding a weird cross. The candlestick. The candlestick moved on its own. The Loon King is after our lives. At the moment, I believe that you are not the person that Fu saw. However, about you sneaking into my room. I need a reasonable explanation from you. Maybe he took the wine as an offering. As one of the offerings that he was collecting. After Yingju's incident, I did go to Mr. Shen's room, but I only did it for the safety of everyone on board. A Taoist priest told me that we needed to prepare 6 bags of pork for the Loon King. But there wasn't enough on this ship, so I had no choice but to mix in some pig ears and snout. I didn't want to risk angering the Loon Kings, so I borrowed the wine from your cabin. Alright. So that's who took the missing red wine, okay. To be honest, I needed top quality aged wine. Using this foreign wine made me nervous. Where are these offerings now? And split them into 3 yin and 3 yang bags and threw them all one by one into the river. What? You threw all the pork I stored into the water? And my red Bordeaux? How much do those things cost? I'll pay you. I was going to tell you, but you all seem busy. Now, we did see him throwing bags. I remember that. Wu Taman should be telling the truth now. I saw him throw the offerings into the water. 1 bag to suppress the demons. 1 bag to remove ill fortune. Don't blame me, don't blame me. Here's an ample portion of pork, also with some pig ear and snout to pay your respects. If you choose to accept it, please clear away the bad omens in this water. So we've got his testimony. Okay, we've got a new testimony. If Wu Taman is telling the truth, then a contradiction exists in this statement. Wu Taman telling the truth. So his testimony. After Shinju Jai indeed went to Mr. Shen's cabin, but it was to borrow wine to offer to the Loon King. And find the wine and other person did it. So he went to Mr. Shen's cabin. I don't think it's him. Resting in Fu's room at the time, if he wasn't feeling so care him helping me, but not soon after Mr. Shen came and remained in the room after that. After Yin Chu and Fu settled down and returned to the cockpit, then Mr. Shen came. We saw how Chu's body fall from the roof. When the shipmaster went out to check the situation, I stayed at the helm. First I was at the helm after discovering the murder of Hao Chu. I went to the check situation at the bow of the ship with Mr. Shen. After that I was with Mr. Joseph. Okay, nothing's jumping out at me. Right now, nothing's jumping out at me. Well, obviously, one of these has to be contradicting. That one, reciting, he could hear him reciting scriptures. You could still hear him, okay, if he went into my room, then he wouldn't be shouting scriptures, because he was making offerings. Alright, okay. Afu, did you hear anything else besides the sound of someone reciting scriptures?
Huh?
Nothing else. That sound alone was enough to make me dizzy. Are you sure? I'm sure. If you're so focused on the noise outside your door, you must have also heard the sound of Mr. Wu tossing the bags of offerings and his shouting. That was right outside their room, wasn't it? One bag to remove ill fortune. Those sounds should have been more raucous. Raucous. That's true. However, I really didn't hear the sounds that you speak of, Detective. Afu, how could this be? Maybe it was because I fell asleep? According to Afu's description, he must have fallen into unconscious due to vasovagal syncope. Afu, your testimony won't be taken into consideration, but this is crucial information. John, you know what this means. If Afu was unconscious within the time that Madam Yin and Old Ling were murdered, someone is unable to provide a reliable alibi. Her. Because she was with him. Which means if he fell asleep, she could have snuck out. Okay. The person who is unable to provide a reliable alibi during two critical time frames is you, Miss Yin Chu. Yin Chu? Mrs. Shen, could you two be mistaken? How could my sister possibly be the murderer? Women can kill. That's not out of the ordinary. If Afu was unconscious, this means that he cannot provide an alibi for Miss Yin Chu. When Madam Yin was murdered, Miss Yin Chu said she was alone at the bow of the ship. Other than her brief encounter with Mr. Liang Xin, no one can prove it. Does that mean everyone else is innocent? John, please tell us how you came to this conclusion. Given the murderer's consistent modus operandi, method of operation, which is what that means, especially the recurring mahjong cards, we can confirm that it is the same perpetrator committing these serial crimes. Major premise: the same murderer commits crimes in succession. By confirming the alibis, we can rule out several suspects. Method elimination. Basis: alibi. In Hao Chu's case, we cannot rule out anyone because too many details are unconfirmed. Oh, there's a lot going on the screen right now. Madam Yin, I'm just going to ignore everything that's going on at the top of the screen. Madam Yin was killed, I'm just going to focus on the text. Madam Yin was killed after she left the dining hall and before Afu entered the room. We can rule out Wu Timan, Joseph Bell, Shen Chungping, who have remained in the dining room. Due to vasovagal syncope and other reasons, Afu has been proved innocent. Old Ling was murdered after Madam Yin's body was moved and before I entered the engine room. Can rule out L, who was with me the whole time, and Wu Liangshan, who was at the helm. as well as Shipmaster Law, who was with Liang half the time, and Joseph the other half. The only person who cannot be ruled out is Yin Chu. I'm glad you dealt with all that, Shen. I'm really glad you dealt with all that, and I didn't have to try and work it out myself. Yin Chu, you're not possessed by the Loon King, are you? No, it wasn't me. I promise. I stayed inside the cabin the whole time. The sound of offerings being tossed into the water, I heard it. Miss Yin Chu, I must remind you, hearing the sound of offerings falling into the water cannot prove you were in the room. You could also hear that sound from outside the room. It's very valid. Very valid. Then what should I do? There's no need to be overly nervous. Carefully recall the people, places and things that can provide you with an alibi. Okay. Please, provide a more detailed account of your experiences before and after the power outage. Alright, so we're going again. We're going for it again. My chest felt stuffy after the game, so I hurried back to my room to take my asthma medicine. Then Yin Chu came asking me to teach her poker, but I refused because I wasn't feeling well. We were talking when a Fu came by, saying he wanted to get a tool. According to my Fu, he said you looked unhappy. What happened? That was because Yin Chu messed up my suitcase, so I was upset. I understand. Please continue. After a Fu left, I went to the bow of the ship for some air. I ran into Yangtze on his way to bring the shipmaster Konji, and we spoke a few words. I felt better after a while, and then as I was about to return to my cabin, the power went out. I was alone and scared, so I went to the cockpit to find Yangtze. Miss Yin Chu, from the bow to the cockpit, are you sure you did not meet anyone? I didn't notice. It was really dark without a single spark of light. All I wanted was to find Liang Xin. Thankfully, he was in the cockpit with the shipmaster. Oh, we're going straight into a contradiction exists between Miss Yin Chu's description and this piece of evidence. Right. No way to contradict that, prove that. We're talking when a Fu came by saying you want to get a tool. That's correct. Wait, what evidence are we looking at here? Hold on, wait, hold on, whoa. Wait, I think I might have just worked out. She said the way of the cockpit was dark without a single spark of light. I didn't notice anyone else. However, if you remember rightly, in a Fu's testimony, he went outside, he had a lantern. Lantern, which would have seen the light. You know, if basically, if a Fu had his lantern on, then she would have seen, because this is before that they found the body, before he found the body. All right, Miss Yin Chu, are you sure the surroundings were pitch black? Yes, I'm sure. You did not see a single spark of light at all? Yes, not a single spark. That is unreasonable. A Fu was holding a kerosene lamp on the deck and you were facing toward him. How could you not have seen a single spark of light? Okay, I may be wrong here. I'm determined it was Joseph. But I really didn't see any light. It actually could be her then. It's leaning a little, pointing a little bit more towards her, but I'm wondering now. Mr. Joseph, Mrs. Shen, my sister's always been afraid of the dark. If she really saw light back then, she wouldn't have been so scared. Maybe she entered the cockpit at a different time than a fool leaving his room. Both Afu and Miss Yinchuan changed their courses of action right after the power outage. I guess right away I had a kerosene lamp close by, so I picked it up and left. When the power went out, I was scared and went to find Yangtze in the cockpit. But it's impossible for them to act at exactly the same time, right? A slight time difference doesn't invalidate John's theory. Eyes are sensitive to light in darkness. Heavy fog tonight, the moon and stars are hidden by clouds. After the power outage, Afu's kerosene lamp should have been the only source of light on deck. In this case, Miss Yinchu would have noticed the light when the lamp was inside the room. Then Afu must be lying. I don't think so. I believe Yinchu isn't lying, but what I shared is also the truth. Afu says he walked out with the lamp and saw someone running toward the bow. Yet Miss Yinchu says she didn't see anyone or any light on her way to the cockpit. Could it be possible that they are both telling the truth? Afu saw Yinchu. Yinchu had her back towards Afu. They were both mistaken. Had her back towards him? If Yinchu had her back towards Afu and her face towards the bow of the ship, she would be unable to see the light behind her. Then she did not go to the cockpit from the bow, but instead from Madame Yin's room. The person Afu saw was Yinchu, because he saw someone running away from the room, and she didn't see a light. Okay, that actually makes sense. She didn't see a light because she was going away from Afu, not towards the away from Afu towards the cockpit rather than from the bow to the cockpit. Because you also would have seen the light from Liang Xin, like in the cockpit, because he had a lantern as well. Well, I say how he had a lantern. He had one in the picture that was saw when he was during his testimony. Miss Yinchu, you left from Madame Yin's room instead of the bow to go to the cockpit. That is why you did not notice the light from the kerosene lamp behind you. After you ran into Liang Xin, there's a longer period of time where you do not have an alibi. You lied and said you stayed at the bow when in fact you returned to your cabin. It is very likely that you murdered Madame Yin during this time frame. Joseph, I apologize. Unless it's some weird twist, I get the feeling it might be her now. Joseph, I apologize for accusing you, or thinking it was you. You're just that type. You had that type of vibe. No, that's not true. Did she kill them all though? That's what I'm wondering, or just her. Mr. Shen, didn't Afu say he saw the murderer entering your room? Yinchu came to the cockpit. Though the fog at night, Afu could not tell which room Yinchu actually entered. The doors were reasonably close together. That's true. Mr. Wu Taman breaking into my room to steal wine was after Madame Yin's incident. Other than that, there were no traces of a second person breaking in. Even if the person Afu saw was Yinchu, that doesn't mean that she's the murderer. Maybe all she did was go back to her room. If Yinchu was not the murderer, upon her return, she would have discovered the body. After Mr. Yin Chu left the room and Fu entered right after, finding Madam Yin dead. If Yin Chu was not the murderer, she must have already discovered the body. Why did she choose not to tell Shipmaster Lo and Liang Xin immediately? Yeah, because if she came out there, just went back to her room, came back out, she would have seen her sister dead. And she came out, she went to the cockpit and didn't say anything. Miss Yin Chu, what's the meaning of this? Did you already discover the body before you came to the cockpit? Why are you stuttering? I don't know what to say. Master Wu, stop scaring Yin Chu. She's speechless. Detective, don't think Yin Chu is the bad person. You're saying that she's a murderer, then she needs motive, right? Why would you murder her own sister-in-law? Oh wait, sister-in-law. Okay, not sister, sister-in-law. Although some would say it's still sister, but it changes the dynamic slightly when it's a like sibling-in-law. Speaking of motives, I'm afraid it's related to this item left at the crime scene. Suitcase. Yeah, it has to be the suitcase because after her death, the suitcase was opened. Something was missing from the suitcase, and we know what happened after the murder because her sleeve was caught in the her sleeve was caught in it. So obviously the motive wasn't the hairpin because obviously that was left. This is Yin Chu's suitcase. She deliberately closed it before leaving the cabin. Thus it can be seen that the belongings in the suitcase are very important to her. So what does Yin Chu care about inside this suitcase? Cards. Those cards. This deck of poker cards was originally in the hands of Madam Yin. I remember Madam Yin was smiling while holding poker cards. Yin Chu looked unhappy. Okay, so she went into her luggage without asking permission. She just went in. Invasion of privacy. Is that enough to kill someone over? To be fair, I take that back. I've heard stranger things of people being... stranger motives of people being murdered. Yet after the murder occurred, it appears inside this suitcase. Miss Yin Chu, you were the one who placed them, correct? You did not wish for others to see this deck of poker cards, so you closed the suitcase. That's a bit of a joke. How could my sister kill someone over some poker cards? I brought the poker cards over. If you look closely enough, you'll discover something out of the ordinary about these cards. Poker cards found in the suitcase have a hat pattern on the back that seemed to have been seen somewhere before. Actually, I have seen that before. And I didn't even mention it because I didn't think it was going to come into play. I believe this piece of evidence will show everyone the true purpose of this deck of cards. And it is the... Not that one. There was another one, wasn't there? That. Unique magic. That one. Here's proof. The key lies in a pattern on the back of the cards. It is a symbol of Shanghai's famous magic organization, the Unique Magic Troupe. Huh? I knew it looked kind of familiar. I watched one of their shows called Telepathy a while ago. Tickets sold out easily. When that magician Unique Mo was performing telepathy, he was using cards just like these. Good memory, Mr. Liangshan. But what does this magic organization have to do with the homicide cases on board? Unless the magical organization is just a cover, and they're actually pirates? I don't think they're pirates. That's possible. Other than Madame Yin, the stoker Old Ling and shipmate Hao Chu were also killed. There's no reason for Yin Chu to kill them. Miss Yin Chu's motive may relate to this evidence. A whole load of these as well. Reports on the magic troop's financial crisis, the death of tea merchant Wu Aishan, so Wu, I'm assuming that's related, those are related, like related to one of our, well, the Wu family, and the missing escort case, an ad for the magician Julia. I'm going to say it has to be that, because nothing else really makes sense. And it's also a connection to the magic troop. Speaking of motives, I'm afraid money is still involved. No, that's not true. My sister's always been well provided for, and now her father left her a large sum of money. There's no way she would kill someone for money. What if she could lose her right to inheritance? What? What do you mean? Indeed, Miss Yin Chu may not need the money. But the unique magic troop does. That one I didn't see coming. This is a newspaper clipping found next to Old Ling's bed. The magic troop faces crippling financial crisis. Shanghai trip becomes swan song trip. Props used in magic performances are rarely given to outsiders. Since the poker cards used by the unique magic troupe appeared near Yin Chu, this indicates that she has a rather close connection with the magic troupe. Now, the magic troupe is in financial crisis and in need of funds. No way, father never liked these westerner things. You can't spend our family money on this. Yin Chu, you better shape up. Those who violate family rules will be deprived of their inheritance rights. Probably exactly why she kept it a secret. I speculate that the conflict between Madame Yin and Yin Chu may have originated from this. The conversation a few witnessed was not about poker, but about the inheritance. It's obvious Miss Yin Chu was after Yin Chu's cut. Mrs. Shen, what about Old Ling and Hao Chu? How do they fit in? Old Ling used to be a guard for the Wus. I found a newspaper clipping next to his bed. He seemed concerned with how the Wus were doing lately, and he was in need of money. Say no more. Perhaps Old Ling and Madame Yin conspired together and threatened Yin Chu. I've seen Uncle Ling speak with Yin Chu in private before. As for Hao Chu, we still cannot confirm the cause of his death. Therefore, I have yet to make a definitive conclusion. Perhaps he was an accident that could be used, or a witness that was silenced. Actually, that makes sense. What about the mahjong cards each of us found on our person? The rest of us have nothing to do with this. Now we do. I presume the mahjong cards were recovered to create the facade of a legendary murder. It would be easier for the murderer to get away if everyone had fallen into chaos. The actual targets should be the 3 people who have already been murdered. John, do you have any basis for your deduction? The mahjong cards were placed next to the victims after their death. Everyone else's card was found on their person.
Huh?
But how did Yin Chu put the cards on us? It should not be difficult for Miss Yin Chu to place a card on each of us.
Huh?
Are you saying my sister practices magic? Sure, it's bad luck to even talk about something so vulgar like that. I mean, she probably would have picked up, if she was familiar with the troop, she would have picked up some tricks from them. There's no way the Wu family could be connected with magic and witchcraft. The way I see it, all these bad things happening on board are a curse from that magic troop. I thought it was the Loon King. Shut your mouth. Oh, she's standing up for herself now. I wanted to talk about it a long time ago. It's not a big deal. I'm a member of the unique magic troupe. I go by the stage name Julia. Hold on, we mentioned Julia. Is Julia missing? Hold on. That's her. Wait, that's her. I'm not ad for the magician Julia. So she's blonde there. So I'm assuming she's wearing a wig to hide her identity. That's kind of cool. Right, let's think that. My boyfriend is Unique Mo, the magician. Huh? Julia? You mean Unique's sexy assistant? Weird thing to say about your sister. I'm just going to throw that out there. That's a weird thing. That's right. It's me, your sister. You, as a lady from a respectable family, you make a fool of yourself dressed like that? Also, what do you mean by boyfriend? A boyfriend, you know. A friend who's a boy. Without parental permission or a matchmaker, you went and eloped on your own? Admittedly, this is set in the older times, back when this kind of thing was acceptable. Maybe not morally acceptable, but culturally acceptable at the time. Not by today's standards. Although there's arguments that it's a good thing, a good way to do things. There are arguments for and against it, and I'm staying out of it. I'm not giving an opinion on my thoughts on that. We're just going to leave it there. Women's world has long advocated for freedom of marriage and love. Shut up. Where did you learn that filth? You're making Father turn in his grave. Father told me that he sent me to study abroad because he didn't want me to be trapped. He said that I should broaden my horizons and see the world. I don't know what honeyed words you said to make Father leave you so much money. But you violated family rules. As an immoral and indecent woman, you lose inheritance rights. Master Wu, everything you just said cannot even be compared to magic. That is what I truly love, what I pursue as a career. I enjoy the spotlight, the stage, the amazed looks on the faces of the audience. I also have a group of friends who share my dream. She's found her people. She's going to stick with them. For them, I'm willing to give up everything. Okay, very well. Once we get home, I'll immediately call for family meeting. You won't be getting a single penny. Enough. Whether or not Miss Yin Chu has inheritance rights or internal affairs of the Wus. But tonight, in this dining hall, there is a serial homicide case that needs to be solved. Therefore, Miss Yin Chu, are you willing to honestly disclose what you've been through? Fine. True experience of Yin Chu. Yin Chu went through my suitcase and took out my poker cards, so we argued. When I asked for the cards back, she refused and told me to leave. I stayed at the bow of the ship for a while, then went back only to find her dead. My cards were in her hands and all over the floor, so I put them away to avoid trouble. Okay. That's all I can say. I won't go into detail about the things I've already talked about. I don't know anything about what Mr. Shen said either. So you're saying you don't admit you're the murderer? I wasn't the one who killed her. John, although your reasoning can be justified, there is indeed no clear evidence to prove that Miss Yinshu is the murderer. Miss Yinshu, may I ask you a few more questions? Go on. So maybe Joseph is back on the table if she didn't. Maybe he's back on the table as a suspect. Right, about the power outage. What were you doing the moment the power outage occurred? Putting away the cards and closing the suitcase. If it weren't for the power outage, I would have definitely noticed her sleeve. Miss Yinshu, may I ask you 4 more questions? Right, tell me about the body. There is a question you've never given a direct answer to. If you realise that Madame Yin was dead, why do you not report it immediately? At the time, I really was scared but senseless and I didn't know how to handle the situation. When you first discovered the body, you were shocked but you remained silent. Yet you screamed out in fear when you saw it the second time with Yang Xin. Why is that? Oh, okay. The girl who would scream at a sight like that is the Wu Yinshu that Liang Shan knew. Miss Yinshu, may I ask you a few more questions? About the Mahjong card. Were you the one who placed the Mahjong card inside the suitcase, Miss Yinshu? If my answer is yes, how would you reason, Mr. Shen? It depends on what else you say. So is that your final answer? You can be the judge of that, Mr. Shen. Two ways you can play that. Because the cards were on the floor, and if she wasn't the murderer and she just grabbed the cards, like bundled the cards up, shoved them in, then the Mahjong card would have been put in with it. Like not unknowingly, but just in a rush would have been put in. Because I've picked stuff up before. Sorry, I've just hit that microphone. I've picked stuff up before and just kind of bundled it and shoved it and realised that I've something important, so something that I need to keep is in the pile, just been swept up accidentally. Happens sometimes. Or it could be the other way where she did it on purpose to hide evidence. Mr. Shen, why don't you take a break? After all this talk, the two gentlemen should have a rest. I agree, work hard, play hard. If the two of you are resting, what do we do when Yinshu goes crazy and hurts someone again? Master Wu, Mr. Shen already said that Miss Yinshu won't hurt anyone anymore. Maybe it's best that we tie her up first. What do you mean by that, Wu-to-man? Only looking out for everyone's safety. What do you say, Shipmaster Lo? Well, it is necessary to take precautions. Do what you must. I'm sorry, Miss Yinshu. We don't have a choice. Snob. On the bow deck of the ship over 10 minutes later. The fog over the river doesn't seem like it'll clear any time soon. Now that we're short-handed, we'll have to wait until tomorrow to continue on our way. Of course, safety is of utmost importance. It's almost midnight. You and Mr. Joseph should go rest and carry on the interrogations tomorrow. With Yang Xin and Elle keeping an eye on Yinshu, nothing can go wrong. Do you buy that, though? Hurry to the dining hall to meet with Mr. Joseph. Okay, the dining hall's down there. Master Wu, there really isn't anything else on this ship that can be used as offerings. Mr. Joseph, Mr. Shen, please talk some sense into Master Wu. He He's going to feed our food to the fishes again. Which celestial being are you worshipping, Mr. Taman? I'm telling you, Yinchu must be being bewitched by and able to do such a thing. I need to beg the Loon King underwater to give a way out. L. Langshan stocked up on some sardines to make stargazer pie. You could go ask him for some to give to Mr. Wu. Mr. Joseph. Go on then. I knew I could rely on Mr. Joseph to be reasonable and fair. By the way, Mr. Wu, we need to preserve Miss Yinchu's suitcase as evidence. As for the money and Yinchu's personal belongings inside the suitcase, I'll handle it. I don't think so. I don't trust you with them. After all, those things ultimately belong to the Wu family. Well, in terms of evidence, we will need the suitcase and the poker cards. Of course, no problem. I almost forgot, we also need the Mahjong card in Yinchu's suitcase, the 8 of characters. Oh, I think we've had an epiphany. Those Mahjong cards in the box, were they left by you, Mr. Yinchu? If I answer yes, how would Mr. Shen reason it out? No, this can't be. It looks like someone's caught in a misconception. I overlooked the fact that the suitcase belongs to the Yinchu. The 8 of characters shouldn't have appeared there. But such a fact's why. She was lying? Could it be that Yinchu lied? She was not the one who placed the card. If that were the case, then why would she admit it? Think back on when the Mahjong card was located, where the Mahjong card was located. I already said that it was inside Yinchu's suitcase. The specific location? To the side of the suitcase, on top of a yellow dress. No yellow dress. It was surrounded by poker cards as well as a blue pouch. That's a white dress. Unless was that picture in black and white? Be more specific. The Mahjong card was placed in between the 2 poker cards. Which proves that Yinchu placed the Mahjong card within the suitcase when she was putting away the poker cards. Because of the sudden power outage, which also proves that the person who left the Mahjong card at the scene of the crime was not Yinchu. The murderer is someone else. Joseph. I'm going to say Joseph. We're going back to Joseph. I'm going to be a little bit disappointed if I'm incorrect. Joseph, Mr. Turan, back to the dining hall. What's wrong? I have wrongfully accused Yinchu. The true culprit is still at large. Let's go. Let's go. Shen gathered everyone back to the dining hall and shared his deduction. John, logically speaking, your analysis just now can indeed rule out Yinchu as a suspect. But we're in different spots now. Are we reversed? That's kind of cool, actually, the fact that they changed positions because we've left and came back. It's not something they had to do, if you know what I mean. They could have just had it exactly the same. However, this also rules out everyone else as a suspect. Logically speaking, every single person now has a reason to not be the murderer. It's you, my dude. It's you. It's definitely not him. It's definitely not him. None of these people, I don't think. I think it's you. You're the only one who hasn't been questioned. There must have been something that we've overlooked. Come on then, I'll go over all 3 cases with you from the top. Co-op deduction, okay. First time we had one of these. Gladly it's not a debate. The debate was way too quick. Kind of thrust upon me. The first victim, shipmate Hao Chu. Died above the cockpit, cause of death, choked to death after becoming inebriated. There was a 9 of characters mahjong card next to him. Choking to death could have been an accident or a poisoning. Next. Madam Yin died in her cabin, cause of death, pierced through the heart by a candlestick. There was an 8 of characters mahjong card next to her. After Madam Yin's body was moved to the crew cabin, the hairpin on her head was stolen. Then appeared at the next crime scene. Old Ling died in the engine room, cause of death, pierced through the heart by a hairpin. There was a 7 of characters mahjong card next to him. Based on the location and angle of the wound, we can confirm it was done by the same person. A hairpin is not an efficient weapon. Why did they steal it and use it to commit murder? Perhaps there is something special about this hairpin. It's priceless to a degree. I think it's priceless. Continue on first. Besides the 3 victims, 6 others also received mahjong cards. Wutaman's card is the 6 of characters. He is most likely the murderer's next target. With L's 5, Yin Chu's 4, my 3, your 2 and Yangshin's 1, there is 9 cards. Wait a moment, Joseph. Something is out of place. The order. The order of the cards is wrong. Really? I don't believe so. Allow me to recollect. With L's 5, Yin Chu's 4, my 3, your 2 and Yangshin's 1, there's 9 cards. Wait, did I get that wrong? The number? There's something wrong with the number of cards. We were missing 8 mahjong cards earlier. What is the 8 characters doing here? Otherwise, you'd still be stuck with that 9 of characters card. The Woos were missing 8 cards when they were playing Madam Yin at the Madam Yin had the 9 of characters. For the murderer to take the 9 of characters, they had to wait until Madam Yin left. The power outage was done by that person specifically to steal that card. Which means the murderer only had 8 cards at first, then stole the 9 of characters later? This could have been accomplished in one go. Why did the murderer do it separately? Had no choice. Maybe there were unforeseeable, insurmountable situations that forced the murderer to do so. What kind of situation could it be? I shall reconsider. Wait, I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong. So it's either by accident or was careless. Careless? Perhaps the murderer was careless and forgot to take 1 card. This murderer has a meticulous mind. It's hard to imagine them making such a mistake. Even if they did make a mistake, it should have been caused by an unplanned event. This could have been accomplished in one go. Oh, it has to be by accident. Alright. Process of elimination on that one. There's only one possibility during the crime. Something outside the murderer's plan occurred. For instance, the discovery of Hao Chu's death? Exactly. Why did the murderer insist on taking the 9 of characters instead of using a card at hand? Okay, the order. Would that create a false alibi? If the order was wrong, and basically if Madam Jin was murdered first, then an alibi would be gone. Means if he's fit, so yeah, okay. It's for like a late alibi or false alibi. I'm going to say that. The Mahjong cards corresponded to the order of death and serve as a countdown. It is likely that the murderer already placed a few cards when they discovered Hao Chu's body. The murderer had to steal the 9 of characters because Hao Chu died before Madam Yin. Since the murderer is so intent on emphasizing the order, that actually indicates there's something wrong with the order. That was a weird read. Without a doubt, Hao Chu was the first to die. However, Madam Yin's time of death is very close to that of Old Ling's. Even after conducting an autopsy, it's difficult to determine the order. The Mahjong calls told us that Old Ling was murdered after Madam Yin. Oh, got the finger wag. John, it wasn't just the Mahjong cards. Don't forget the murder weapon used to kill Old Ling was Madam Yin's hairpin. How do we get rid of that one? When Madam Yin died, you and I both saw that she was still wearing the hairpin on her head. I noticed the hairpin was stolen after her body was moved to the crew cabin. Wutaman said that this hairpin is intricately crafted and it's hard to buy one exactly like it. The murderer could only steal this hairpin after the crime, then murder Old Ling. If this was part of the murder plan, why not take it right after murdering Madam Yin? That is indeed unusual. Let's re-examine that hairpin and see what's special about it. Has to be something on the back. There's a white pendulous bead hanging on the tassel chain that seems to be some kind of jade. Any discoveries, John? This detail and a certain piece of evidence in my memory seem to contradict. Oh, talking that? Okay, I'm a little bit confused. It has to be that has to be the pin. Joseph, if I remember correctly, when the tassel of Madam Yin's hairpin hangs to the right, the jade stamen faces forward. Yet this hairpin is exactly the opposite. You know, that was a complete guess. I did not realise that the thing that's hanging is at the back, not the front. Is this a fake? This is not the hairpin that Madam Yin wore. John, this discovery is enough to overturn every deduction we've made on this case. Everyone, John has several important discoveries regarding the case and that he needs to announce. We have already confirmed that Miss Yin Chu isn't the true culprit in this case. We just do that in conversation between us right in front of everyone. My apologies, I was negligent. I told you Yin Chu wasn't bad. Wait, has he got his voice back? What made you change your judgment, Mr. Shen? Previously, I overlooked an important detail. Madam Yin's hairpin and the hairpin that killed Old Ling are actually a symmetrical pair. I don't understand. What does that prove? This means that the judgment about Ordling's time of death has been overturned. The true trajectory of the perpetrator could be as follows. They killed Ordling in the engine room with 1 hairpin and left the 7 of characters. Then they killed Madame Yin in the cabin with a candlestick and left the 8 of characters. After Madame Yin's body was discovered, they waited for a chance to steal the other hairpin, thus creating the illusion of Ordling dying after Madame Yin as well as their own alibi. Then what's the deal with Old How's death? Hao Chu's death was an accident that even the murderer could not foresee. To reinforce the wrong order of death, they stole the 9 of characters for Hao Chu. I didn't expect this murderer to be so cunning. Mr. Shen, do you know who the murderer is? The only person who had the chance to commit theft and murder was... Oh, we're going to go... Am I going to put money on it? Am I going to put money on this now? I might be entirely wrong. What, the Loon King? The Loon King did it. That would be a funny answer. I'm going to put money... I may be wrong. I'm going to put money in this. I hope I'm right. The murderer was you, Joseph. Tell me about your analysis. The moment you bought... Wait, am I right? Am I right? Am I right? It feels like I'm right. The moment you boarded the ship with me, your master plan began. You used the mechanism to remotely kill Madame Yin, then murder Ordling during the investigations. You're familiar with methods of crime and use mahjong cards to interfere with investigations. John, your imagination is really out of this world and out of the blue. Stop joking around, Mr. Shen. No one believes that Mr. Joseph is the murderer. Well, am I right? Or am I actually right? Or am I fake? Is it trying to psych me out? Allow me to reconsider. Alright, so I was wrong. Joseph, I apologise. Please don't not be friends with me anymore. Please don't. The only person who had the chance to commit theft and murder was... Wooterman? I mean, it could be. It's not Joseph, unfortunately. I'm going to say it's not the Loon King. Lo Ting Hai, not him. Definitely not him. Chow, maybe. I don't feel like it could be her. I might be wrong on that. 18-year-old. Wooterman is another one. Because he's... Okay. Well, okay. So it's definitely not me. Him, maybe. I can't see him doing it, but maybe. She's been cleared. It's not Joseph who I thought it was. I'm a little bit sorry that I got it wrong. However, I'm pleasantly surprised that I did get it wrong. Could it be El Chow? Could it be her? Time and motive to steal. Wait, what's the thing? The only person who had a chance to commit theft and murder. Could be her. Because definitely not Fu. Not the captain. Not Joseph. I'm going to guess El Chow because she... Does the order of the... Can I have a look at the evidence? We don't have the testimony, do we? We don't have the alibis. Right. Does her alibi fall apart with the order? Okay, I'm just gonna guess. I think her alibi, because she's currently, the way things were with the order that the were in the thing, like originally think she has a alibi for the murders. However, with the order changing, she now no longer has an alibi. And would that make her the only one who doesn't have an alibi? Let's try it. I might be entirely wrong on this. The true murderer is L. L? Stop joking around, Mrs. Shen. Am I correct? Is it going to tease me again with me making a false accusation? But detective, hasn't Elle been investigating the case with you the whole time? How could she have killed anyone? This young lass doesn't just seem like she could kill someone unless she's been possessed. Would you quit it with the possession? Mr. Shen, I don't think anyone believes that Elle's the murderer. You wronged my sister earlier. Are you mistaken again? Gentlemen, please be cautious. Lives are at stake here. John, we've been wandering in the mist for too long. Now the truth is about to be revealed. Do you have a way to break the doubt and prove that Elle is the murderer? I'm going to guess that I'm right, because it would have kicked us out and back to the decision by now. In my memory, a minor detail about Elle contradicts a piece of evidence. All objects and all images settle in different locations sequentially. I have a card too. It's the 5 of characters, right after Master Wu. Besides, Madame Yin barely weighs anything, it was effortless. Mrs. Shen, there seems to be a piece of paper inside this pile of broken glass. I used to go to private school, but I dropped out after my daddy owed a lot of debt. How could Madame Yin's hair grow longer? Once you're done, the speed of the ship will be adjusted and the bell will stop ringing. Okay. Sorry, that just sparked something in me there. That statement, once you're done, the speed of the ship will be adjusted and the bell will stop ringing. We had to shut the ship down, we had to stop the ship ourselves manually. However, I was wondering, we've been dealing with views pretty much everything else. Except that and this. And now looking at this, seems to adjust the airflow inflow of the steam turbine. The valve is fully open and the point also indicates maximum value. So that's up maximum. However, that's something you would deal with when you're shutting down the ship, when you're stopping the ship. I'm going to go for it. We're flying blind here. Semi-blind. All contact leaves traces. There are no murder plans that can be created without a flaw. This steam valve is one of the flaws that Elle left behind. What can this mere steam valve explain? Elle once told me, Mr. Shen, this is the engine telegraph. It's used to adjust the ship's speed. Once you're done, the speed of the ship will be adjusted and the bell will stop ringing. However, according to my observation of Shipmaster Low's operation, to To alter the speed of the ship, you must adjust the steam valve on the steam engine. I forgot that he did that. You're right, Detective. The engine telegraph is just a communication device. It can't change the speed of the ship. It's true, Elle rarely touches the steam boiler, but how does that prove she's the murderer? Because this steam valve has never been adjusted, it has always been in a fully open state. I thought that Mr. Shen was the one who adjusted the last acceleration. Mr. Shen, only you could operate such a complex steam turbine properly. Yeah, I didn't do that though. That was why Shipmaster Lowe praised me. When in fact, under Elle's guidance, all I did was operate the engine telegraph. This steam valve has been maintaining the same state as before Old Ling was murdered. Huh? Alright. Something she overlooked. Okay. I didn't expect Elle. To be fair, I did not expect her. Detective, I think I understand, but also don't understand. What does this have to do with the case? The time of death. If we combine the steam valve with this evidence, we can deduce Old Ling's true time of death. Or this evidence. The only other bit of information that we haven't used before, the book. I knew it was going to come into play. I knew it was going to come into play. There's no red herrings in this one at the very least. The log records the ship navigating at full speed before nearing the Lun King Temple. Thereafter, the cockpit issued a command to decelerate at 2130. Since there was a prompt response, there were no special records on the log. Am I correct? Yes, that's true. But in fact, the valve of the steam engine remained fully open. Even though there was a response from the engine telegraph, the valve was not adjusted. No wonder our ship would hit a porpoise. Shipmaster, even you didn't notice there was something off about the ship's speed. Although I did feel that the paddle wheels were turning rather quickly, it was too dark and foggy to determine the speed. Then everything else happened. Shipmaster Lowe, has there ever been a time where Old Ling forgot to adjust the steam valve? Never. Very well, this pretty much indicates that at 2130 Old Ling had already come to harm. Uncle Ling was murdered, of course he couldn't work anymore. What does that have to do with me? I have a professional habit of checking the time whenever something happens. Old Ling came to ask for Elle's help in the engine room around 2120. 10 minutes later, 2130, as John had mentioned, the ringing of the engine telegraph began. Which means Old Ling was killed within the 10-minute time frame after you entered the engine room. I do kind of wonder why. Although something that was mentioned before was she left school because Dad owed a lot of money. After killing Old Ling, the murderer turned off the ringing noise but didn't adjust the valve. I hired Elle to work in the engine room, but Old Ling won't let her touch the steam engine. You've never touched the steam engine, so you only know about how to operate the engine telegraph. Coincidence? That's really just a coincidence. Besides the deceased, everyone who received a mahjong card has been in this dining room. As the waitress, you were able to naturally approach each of us to leave a card. Before the power outage, you were standing next to Mr. Wu, with the socket right behind you. Is that also a coincidence? Did she short the thing out with a fork or something like that? Are you saying Elle was behind the power outage? The power outage not only made it convenient for her to take the card from the table, but also created chaos and distracted the shipmaster from using the engine telegraph. As long as Ordling's body was discovered after Madame Yin, her plan was half successful. Then, she just had to steal the hairpin to create the illusion that Ordling died after Madame Yin, giving her the perfect alibi while she investigated the case with John. That is why Elle is the true murderer of this case. To be fair, I didn't actually see this coming. Genuinely. I'm carrying on because I think we're near the end. It's one that I knew we were coming to the end. Because I like that kind of vibe. So we're going to finish this case in this episode. So the episode might overrun a little bit. Because I'm not entirely sure if I can cut stuff out, how much stuff I can cut out. It's not that type of game where you can cut huge chunks out. Mr. Shen, could you allow me to say something? Go on. Mr. Shen, although we haven't spent much time together on this ship, I admire you greatly. I have no way to refute your analysis. What you mean is that our claim is consistent with the facts, am I correct? Are you admitting it? Elle? Elle, will you confess to your crimes? I'm sorry, Shipmaster. I refuse to confess. Mr. Shen, I learned a lot through investigating the case with you. You always say that there are no flawless crimes, but the truth is, flawless reasoning also doesn't exist. You cannot ensure the integrity and authenticity of the clues you obtain. Just like Miss Yin Chu's situation, when new clues appear, new logic may also arise. A little bit of a valid statement there. John, are you alright? I believe that Elle is correct. There is no guarantee that there will not be anything new unforeseen. Even if we limit the time of Ordling's murder to a 10-minute interval, we still have no way to confirm that Elle is the murderer. Don't be too persistent, John. The problem Elle mentioned is precisely the reason why presumption of innocence is necessary. It is also the source of progress in crime investigation for forensic science. The purpose of a detective's existence is not to catch the murderer, but to find the truth. I understand. Since Elle investigated the case with you, she's been in your line of sight the whole time. This will have a certain impact on her behaviour. Considering Elle was with me the entire time, this event may prove that she is the murderer. What event are we talking about here? Hairpin. She was in a good position to steal the hairpin. Elle, if my guess is correct, Madame Yin's missing hairpin is still on your person. You were with me throughout the investigations, and that hairpin was the focus of our attention. I believe that you did not have the chance to get rid of it. Shipmaster Law, I would like to ask Miss Yin Chu to help examine Elle's pockets. This is the last resort. Whether to execute it or not is up to you to decide. Well, life is at stake. There's no need for that.
Huh?
Elle, you... The hairpin that you're looking for is indeed in my possession. The reason why I'd been holding on to it is for this exact moment. Help me! Don't kill me! Don't kill me! Did she attack Wu? Did she attack Wu to man? Alright, she's a bit angry. Master Wu, it's alright now. She's under control now. Yin Chu just saved your life. Yinju, weren't you tied up? This binding method is often used in escape magic. It can't trap me. Good. Magic is good. I'm wondering as to motive. I'm wondering if it has to do with death of the tea merchant or missing escort. Maybe that was mother. Maybe that was father. Or maybe not particularly thing. Sorry. I'll restate that because that sounded confusing. Maybe the tea merchant was her father who was killed and she's seeking revenge for that against the Woos. Or the missing escort was her mother, which then caused problems. Not that the tea merchant and the missing escort were father and mother together. You know what I mean? Like separate. One or the other. I'm wondering if that's what it is. That was close. Way too close. I was this close to putting an end to everything. Elle, there's no hate without cause. Did you have a bad history with these people? How could there be any bad history? This young lass must have been possessed. We'd acquit it with the possessions. Wu man. Do you still remember Chao Cheng Yi, head of the Yangtze River escort agency? So it's escort. I always thought my daddy and the others died because the waves tipped over the ship until... Quick, somebody cover up her mouth. Why? Aren't you curious as to why she wants to kill you? Go on, Elle. Until I overheard them with my own ears. I thought you said you'd leave with your family after you got the money. What are you doing back here? Also, why is Wu Ling Chan the first mate here? He doesn't know something, does he? Master, madam, don't worry. Running into you two and Miss Yangqing was just by chance. I have paid for my sins. My wife and child have died of illness and I will soon join them. I no longer want to have any further involvement in that matter and I won't say a word. You better keep your word, bite your tongue and carry the secret to the grave. Inju, I still think this is too much of a coincidence. It makes me feel uneasy. Those pirates you hired back in the day, can you trust them? They've long hated the escort agency. We seek wealth, they take lives. It is a sealed deal. Besides, those pirates are either dead or locked away. They're long gone. What if there was a careless slip-up somewhere? They were drugged, burdened with rocks, and then buried in a sandpit at the bottom of the river. It's impossible to slip up. Then it seems that it's just a coincidence. Amitabha, good. Okay, so they killed her parents. Or killed her dad at the very least, and then maybe a mother had to go work for the escort agency. You worked an inside job, stealing your own family's transport behind Old Master Wu's back. You even spread rumours saying that the guards were motivated by greed and fled with the money. The poor escorts of the Yangtze River escort agency have been earnest all their lives. But they were betrayed, murdered, slandered and buried with dirt on their names. I just wanted to seek justice for them. Alas, after the agency died unjustly, peace was no more as the pirates ran rampant. This has been an utter betrayal of their heroism and sincerity. The reputation of an escort is greater than one's life. Every debt must be paid off. The families of the agency were willing to give their all down to the last grain of rice, just to pay off the debt and save the reputation of the Yangtze River Escort Agency. Hold on. We're pausing right here because I have made a horrible assumption. I made a horrible assumption there, and I need to apologise. Yangtze River Escort Agency. When I saw escort, I immediately thought a brothel, like a brothel boat kind of thing, prostitution, sex work kind of thing. I apologise because I was entirely wrong. It has nothing to do with that. That's my bad. We're talking, it's a river escort. It's basically security hired guards on a boat, like a boat agency, to protect ships that are going down up and down the Yangtze River in order to save them from pirates. That was my bad. I've been assuming worse the whole entire time. I assumed escort agency, sex work. That's my bad. We're going to continue. I can't believe it didn't click. It didn't click. My poor mummy died performing for money without living to see this day. These hairpins were my mummy's dowry. Yinju snatched one when she ransacked our home. The other, my mummy secretly hid it, saying she saved it for me to keep. These past few days, the tassel of the hairpin on Yingju's head has been swaying before me. After overhearing their conversation, how could I continue to suffer in silence? Mr. Taman, is everything El just said true? I wasn't involved. Yinju was the one who came up to me with the idea. You weren't involved. So you didn't take any of the silver that was stolen? I just wanted to get some money to pay off my debt. I didn't think she'd be so ruthless. I didn't want something like that to happen either. I've been reciting scriptures every day since. Sincerely praying for the deceased. Since you are so sincere, please put the whole story on paper and sign it for Mr. Taman. I don't think that's really necessary. Yes, it is. Also, don't spike that into the table. It's expensive. You're stabbing an expensive relic into the bloody table. What are you doing? Then untie El. I don't want to have a brother like you anymore. Wu Liangshan, you ungrateful brat. You're trying to get your brother killed. This matter is between you and El anyway. Maybe you two just resolve it alone. Come on now. Write and sign or resolve it alone. Choose for yourself. That's quite an ultimatum. That actually is quite an ultimatum. I like it. I'll write. Now that the truth is out in the open, what do you plan to do with El? In my opinion, they started it. El's revenge is understandable. However, El has still taken 2 lives. If we don't send her in... I knew I had to face the consequences when I killed them. Yinchu and Uncle Ling are dead. Now with Wu Timan's confession, I have no regrets. I will accept all punishment. There's no need to put yourselves in a difficult position. El, are you sure that's what you want? Considering the unlawful infringement of your act of revenge, targeted has long come to an end. Your revenge will be defined as murder. If we just send her in like that, El's life will be in danger. I'm responsible for my actions. I won't regret it. Mr. Joseph, is there nothing else we can do? Punishment must be executed by the officials to break the cycle of murder and revenge. John, what do you think? I would like to Okay. Advocate self-defense. Argue self-defense. I don't know what the Great King Code is. Uphold primitive justice. Do we have any information on the Old King Code? Is it? Do we actually have any? We don't. We also have a lot more glossary stuff to unlock. Knowledge. This is all technical knowledge. Okay, this is technical knowledge. Facts are history. All right. Okay, I don't know. I don't think we can advocate self-defense. Because that would be technically be a lie, because she didn't kill them. She killed them for revenge. I'm going to try the code. She is only 18, and I think she'll end up being put to death for murder. Joseph, I believe there's still a leeway to turn things around. The laws and decrees of the King dynasty are different from those you are familiar with. The Great King Code states if one's parents are murdered and they don't go to officials, by killing the perpetrator, they are guilty of killing without authorization. The punishment is being beaten by a staff 60 times. If the perpetrator had angered them into seeking revenge, punishment will be further reduced. Okay. So we'll get basically get beaten up by with 60 hits. That depends where they hit them, but it's going to be brutal, but I would imagine she would survive. So the detective means that not only is Elle not required to pay with her life, there's also a chance to reduce her sentence. I suppose if it reduces the sentence, it would be less than 60. If Miss L does not mind, I'm willing to serve as your litigation lawyer. Thank you. Okay, we got it. Nice. Okay. Mystic ship in the mist. Okay, right. We're not going to do the wrap up of this case right now because I have overrun, because I pushed on to finish the case. So we're going to leave it here. I'm going to make sure I save it because I don't want to have to redo a whole lot of stuff. So I'm going to go Big Me real quick. So yeah, that was an interesting one because I did a lot of guesswork in those last bits. Genuinely a lot of guesswork. I only picked L because I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine anyone else being. It was only like one of two, either Wu to Man or L was the options. And I took a gamble on L because the alibi thing. She didn't have an alibi. With the order of the murders being changed, she then didn't have an alibi. Where obviously we could have looked a bit deeper into Wu Man and accused him. But obviously in this case it would have been wrong because it was actually in fact L. The fact that she murdered two people for revenge, and obviously they using different laws rather than American laws or like Western laws, I think was the right play. I didn't know. That again was just a guess. I didn't know that the whole King Dynasty laws were different to other ones and what that involved. To be fair, getting beaten up by 60 hits is that a death sentence technically, or is that something you can survive? And for murder, basically, because that would be the thing for murder by revenge. A revenge killing. I don't know. I would have to look it up, and I don't think I'm that invested in the King Dynasty laws to actually look it up and work it out. but it's an interesting concept. The fact that laws are different in different countries, like, doesn't exactly baffle me, but it's some of the laws that you find are really crazy, and some of the punishments you find are crazy compared to other ones for the same kind of crime. It's crazy to me. It does make sense because obviously different cultures, it's a whole cultural thing, and it's very bizarre. But I'm kind of like, I don't know whether I would want to force like generic laws across the entire world. You know what I mean? Like the same laws across the entire world. I don't know whether that would get rid of a whole load of culture kind of related stuff. I think we're going into deep philosophical really territory here, and I'm just going to pull back from that because we'll be here for hours discussing things. Or well, not discussing things, but me talking to the camera and talking to you guys with no real response, just me spouting waffle. Basically, that's what it would end up being. So, and we've already overrun anyway. So, like I said, we're going to leave that here. We're going to pick up the last little section of this case. It's kind of like the aftermath of the case that we're dealing with, and then moving on to case number 5, which I think is the last case. I think there's only 5 cases in this game. So we're getting towards the end of the game. Got one more case to do, I believe. It's going to be interesting. I have no idea what that's about. This one was interesting. There was a lot of moving parts. Considering it's a small ship, there was a lot of moving parts. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, please let me know in the comment section below. If you are new here, feel free to come hang out, come check out some other stuff that we have going on. We would love to have you here. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you again for all the support you've given me. It is much appreciated. If you want to go above and beyond though, you can opt into the membership program. And if you grab a tier 1, you'll get your name up on the wall. If you grab a tier 2, you get your name up there, and you get early access to the videos should you want to do that. If you don't, however, don't worry about it. Memberships are always appreciated, but never mandatory. So after that initial early access period, they will become available for everyone basically on the channel that's subscribed to the channel. Even if you're not subscribed, I would prefer you to subscribe, you know. That'd be, you know, nice. That'd be nice as well. However, again, that is not essential. You're your own person. Also, please remember to be a light in the dark for someone. You never know when a single act or word of kindness could change someone's day or life for the better, or in ways that you may never understand. Be that light for someone, genuinely. Be as nice as you can. It's a dark world right now. We need all the light we can get. I love you all from the bottom of my heart, and you all know what's coming. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. And as always, shall see you on the flip side. Bye bye.